Hi there, and a warm welcome to Timeless Wisdom. Ever wonder how some folks manage to have tidy, welcoming homes, even when they're living solo and racing through busy days? Believe it or not, it's not about perfection or spending your weekends cleaning. There are a handful of small, practical habits that can completely change the way you care for your space, and I'm excited to pass them along to you today. Let's face it. Most of us are juggling long hours and a never-ending list of tasks. It's no surprise that cleaning and organising usually end up at the bottom of our priorities. Coming home to a mess can feel discouraging, but you don't have to settle for that. You deserve a home that feels like a breath of fresh air, without exhausting yourself in the process. Today, I'm going to walk you through simple ideas you can start using right away to keep things in order, no matter how packed your schedule is. These aren't just theories. I've tried every one of them myself, and the difference is night and day. And trust me, tip number 7 is a personal favourite. It's so effective, it can actually save you half the time you'd usually spend tidying up. Forget the old myth that a clean house means devoting your entire day to chores. We're letting that go here. If you're ready for a fresh start and a little more peace in your daily routine, you're in exactly the right spot. Let's dive in and discover the first tip together. Tip 1. The power of golden minutes. Golden minutes are those small pockets of time during the day that often go unnoticed but can be incredibly valuable for keeping your home organised. These are the moments when you're waiting for the coffee to boil, the 2 minutes while the microwave heats up your meal, or while you're waiting for the shower to heat up. Individually, they may seem insignificant, but when used wisely, these golden minutes can make a dramatic difference in organising your home. The idea is simple. Identify these small pockets of time in your day and assign quick organising tasks to each one. For example, while the coffee is boiling, you can put away the dishes in the drainer. While you're waiting for the microwave, you can organise a small space like the silverware drawer or the spice rack. The key is to choose tasks that can be completed in that short amount of time. Don't start organising an entire closet if you only have 3 minutes to spare. Instead, focus on small wins that can be achieved quickly. The psychological impact of this approach is astonishing. Instead of feeling like you have to set aside hours to organise your home, you're spreading out small tasks throughout the day, which makes everything much more manageable. Plus, each small win motivates you to do the next one. Another benefit is that you're making use of time that would otherwise be wasted. Start by identifying 3 golden minutes in your day tomorrow and plan a small task for each one. You'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish without adding any extra time to your already busy schedule. Tip 2. The 5 minutes before bed system. One of the reasons many people feel overwhelmed by organising their homes is because they let things pile up throughout the day. When they finally decide to tidy up, the task seems overwhelming and daunting. The 5-minute bedtime system is a simple technique that can help you avoid this build-up and ensure that you wake up to a more organised home every morning. As the name suggests, this technique involves taking just 5 minutes before bed to quickly organise the main areas of your home. This isn't a deep clean or rearranging of furniture, but rather a quick reset that makes a huge difference the next day. Start by establishing a consistent routine. Every day, 5 minutes before you go to bed, walk through the main rooms of your home, such as the living room and kitchen. Pick up misplaced items, straighten couch cushions, put away remote controls, quickly wipe down kitchen counters, and make sure the sink is free of dishes. A great tip is to use a real timer to keep yourself within the 5-minute limit. This prevents the task from dragging on and interfering with your well-deserved rest. When the alarm goes off, you stop wherever you are. Whatever you couldn't do can be done tomorrow. Over time, you'll become more efficient and get more done in those 5 minutes. The psychological impact of waking up to a relatively organised home is immense. Instead of starting the day feeling overwhelmed by clutter, you start with a sense of control and calm. This sets a positive tone for the rest of the day. Plus, this technique works on the principle that it's easier to stay organised than it is to get back to it once clutter has taken hold. By investing just 5 minutes each night, you'll save a lot of time and energy in the long run. Tip 3. The one-touch rule. How many times have you picked up an item, like a piece of mail, glanced at it, and then put it somewhere temporary, promising yourself you'd deal with it later, only to find yourself with piles of temporary stuff scattered around your house a few weeks later? The one-touch rule was developed to eliminate this very problem, saving you time and preventing clutter from building up. This rule is simple. You only touch each item once before making a final decision about it. When you pick up a piece of mail, instead of putting it in a pile to look at later, decide what to do with it right away. If it's a bill, schedule the payment and file it or throw it away. If it's advertising, throw it away right away. If it's something important to keep, put it directly in its proper storage location. The same principle applies to other everyday items. When you take off a coat, instead of throwing it over a chair, hang it on a coat rack. When you're done using a cup, wash it right away or put it in the dishwasher. This approach requires a little more time in the moment, but it completely eliminates the need to go back and tackle the same item again. The beauty of the one-touch rule is that it combats one of the biggest culprits of clutter, procrastination. By making decisions right away, you avoid the gradual accumulation of small tasks that together add up to a daunting organising project. To implement this rule, start in a specific area of your home, such as the hallway where you receive mail or the kitchen. Practice consciously touching each item just once before making a final decision. Over time, this behaviour will become a habit, and you'll notice that clutter decreases significantly. Another benefit is that it reduces the mental stress associated with having unfinished tasks. When you process items thoroughly, your mind is freed from the little worries that are hanging over your head. Between the tip I just shared and the next one, I want to make a special request. If this content is being useful to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive notifications of new videos like this one. I would also love to know where you are watching from, so leave your location in the comments. Your participation is very important for us to continue bringing quality content like this. Now, let's continue with more incredible tricks to keep your home organised without getting tired. Tip 4. The designated basket method. One of the biggest sources of clutter in your home is when things don't go back to their proper places. The designated basket method is a simple and extremely effective solution to this problem, especially if you live alone and don't have anyone to help you organise. This method involves strategically placing baskets in different areas of your home, each with a specific purpose. You will need at least 3 baskets or organising boxes. The first basket should be in the area where you spend the most time, such as the living room. This will be your out-of-place basket. Whenever you find something that doesn't belong in that room, instead of stopping what you're doing to put it away, simply put it in the basket. The second basket should be near the exit of your home and will serve as your going out basket. In this basket, you will put items that need to be taken with you when you leave, such as mail to be mailed, reusable bags for the grocery store, or items that need to be returned. The third basket is the to-do basket, where you put items that you haven't decided what to do with, like a gift you're not sure you're going to keep, or a document that needs to be looked at more carefully. The key to making this method work is to establish a routine for emptying these baskets regularly. Ideally, you should process the misplaced items basket daily, taking about 5 minutes before bed to return each item to its proper place. The leaving basket should be checked every day before you leave the house. The to-do basket can be reviewed weekly, perhaps on the weekend when you have more time to reflect. This method is especially useful if you live alone because it eliminates the need to constantly stop an activity to put away items, which can be mentally draining. Instead, you group these small tasks together for a specific time, making the process more efficient. Plus, baskets help keep your space looking organised even when you haven't had time to put everything away properly yet. Tip 5. The focus rotation technique. Many people feel overwhelmed when they think about keeping their entire home organised at once. The focus rotation technique solves this problem by dividing your home into zones and focusing on a different zone each day. This is especially helpful for those who live alone and have a busy schedule. To implement this technique, start by dividing your home into 5 or 7 zones, depending on how many days of the week you want to dedicate to organising. For example, Monday could be kitchen day, Tuesday bathroom day, Wednesday bedroom day, Thursday living room day, and Friday work or study areas. Weekends could be reserved for relaxation or a special organising project you want to complete. The key is to dedicate just 20 minutes each day to your designated zone. This time is short enough that it doesn't overwhelm your routine, but long enough to make a noticeable difference if applied consistently. During those 20 minutes, focus exclusively on organising that zone for the day. This could include putting away misplaced items, wiping down surfaces, reorganising a drawer or closet, or any other task that needs to be done in that space. It's important to understand that with this technique, you're not trying to do a deep clean or complete reorganisation in just 20 minutes. Instead, you're maintaining that area and perhaps improving it a little bit each week. By the end of a month, you'll have dedicated about 80 minutes to each area of your home, which is enough to make a significant transformation without ever feeling overwhelmed. One of the great things about this technique is that it eliminates the guilt we often feel when we can't keep the whole house perfectly organised all the time. You know that each area will get its turn, so you don't have to worry if your bedroom is a little disorganised on Monday, because Wednesday will be that day. Tip 6. The empty space principle. One of the biggest enemies of organisation is clutter. When your closets, drawers and surfaces are completely overflowing, any attempt to stay organised becomes a constant battle. The empty space principle solves this fundamental problem by ensuring that you always have room to manoeuvre in your home. This principle states that every storage space in your home, whether it's a closet, drawer or shelf, should have at least 20% free space. This space is crucial for several reasons. First, it allows you to easily store items without having to rearrange everything. When a drawer is completely full, adding one more item becomes a daunting task. With free space, organising becomes much simpler and faster. Second, empty space allows flexibility for seasonal or circumstantial changes. For example, in the winter, you may need more blankets, or during a project, you may need more materials. The extra space accommodates these fluctuations without creating chaos. To implement this principle, start by assessing all of your storage areas. Identify those that are completely full and plan to create the necessary empty space. This usually means sorting through what really needs to be kept. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Have I used it in the last 12 months? Does it bring me joy, or is it just a burden? For each area you assess, remove items until you have 20% free space. Sort these items into 3 categories: donate, sell, or discard. This can be the most challenging part of the process, but it's also the most liberating. Many people report a sense of immense relief after creating empty space in their homes. It's as if the burden of maintaining all those items has finally been lifted. Remember, this principle isn't about living with less than you need, but rather about creating breathing room and making it easier to stay organised on a daily basis. Tip 7. The vertical organisation method. One of the most efficient ways to maximise space and make organising easier, especially when you live alone, is to adopt the vertical organisation method. This method revolutionises the way we store our belongings, making them more accessible and visible, which in turn makes it much easier to stay organised in the long run. The basic principle is simple. Whenever possible, store items vertically instead of stacking them horizontally. This applies to a surprising variety of things in your home. For example, in your clothing drawers, fold your shirts, pants, and other items and place them vertically like files in a folder instead of stacking them on top of each other. This way, you can see all of your items at once and can grab exactly what you need without messing up the rest. On your kitchen shelves, organize jars and containers so that you can see their sides, not just the top of the one in front. Use dividers or organizers to keep items upright. For linen and towel closets, fold them into rectangular bundles and position them vertically, like books on a bookshelf. For files and documents, use hanging folders or vertical organizer boxes instead of stacking papers. This method offers several important benefits. First, it maximizes space utilization by allowing you to store more items in the same area without creating clutter. Second, it makes it much easier to find exactly what you're looking for without having to disorganize everything around it. Third, it significantly reduces the time it takes to maintain organization, since you don't have to constantly reorganize piles that have collapsed. Implementing this method may require some initial adjustments and possibly the purchase of some specialized organizers, such as drawer dividers or appropriately sized boxes. However, the investment in time and resources is well worth it, considering the ease of maintenance it provides in the long run. Start by applying this principle in a small area, such as an underwear drawer or a kitchen shelf, and then gradually expand to other areas of the house as you become comfortable with it. Tip 8. The 10 minutes a day strategy. Keeping an organized home doesn't necessarily require large blocks of time dedicated to cleaning and tidying. In fact, small consistent actions can be much more effective in the long run. The 10-minute daily strategy is based on this principle and is especially useful for people who live alone and have busy schedules. The concept is simple but powerful. Every day, without exception, dedicate exactly 10 minutes to intensely focus on organizing whatever area of your home needs the most attention at that moment. The key to the success of this strategy lies in a few key principles. First, use a real timer. When you set a clear time limit, your brain enters a state of heightened focus, and you can accomplish much more than you think. Second, choose the area that is most visible or causing you the most stress. Start with the one that will make the biggest visual or emotional difference. Third, don't get distracted by other tasks during those 10 minutes. Focus entirely on organizing, without checking messages or answering phone calls. To implement this strategy, find a specific time of day for these 10 minutes and make it a ritual. It could be right after you get home from work, immediately after dinner, or 10 minutes before you start your nightly routine. Consistency is more important than specific timing. The benefit of this approach is that it makes decluttering much more manageable psychologically. 10 minutes doesn't seem daunting, even when you're tired, and the cumulative impact is impressive. In a week, that's 70 minutes of focused decluttering. In a month, that's almost 5 hours. Another advantage is that this strategy creates a positive habit. Over time, decluttering becomes a natural part of your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. You start to feel like something is missing on the days you skip this activity. Many people find that after adopting this strategy for a few weeks, not only does their home feel more organized, but they also feel less anxiety and stress about home maintenance. Before I move on to the next tip, I want to tell you about something special I prepared for those who want to go beyond this video. It's a complete guide with organization secrets that completely transform my home and can transform yours too. The link is in the pinned comment, and for a limited time, I'm offering a special discount for channel subscribers. Now, let's continue with the next tips, which are some of my favorites. Tip 9, the anchored routine system. One of the biggest challenges in keeping your home organized when you live alone is creating and maintaining consistent organizing habits. The anchored routine system solves this problem by using existing habits as anchors for new organizing habits, making it much easier to incorporate them into your daily life. The principle is simple. Identify activities that you already do consistently every day, without fail, and attach a small organizing task immediately before or after them. These consistent activities are your anchors. For example, you probably make coffee every morning. That's a perfect anchor. Now, establish that immediately after making coffee, you will spend 2 minutes organizing your kitchen counter. Or maybe you always brush your teeth before bed. After that activity, spend 3 minutes organizing your outfit for the next day. Other common anchors include taking a shower, eating lunch, getting home from work, or checking email. The key to making this system work is consistency and the size of the task you attach. The decluttering task should be small enough that it doesn't feel like a struggle. Ideally, something that takes less than 5 minutes to complete. Initially, focus on just 1 or 2 anchored routines until they become automatic before adding more. Write down your anchored routines and place visible reminders near the anchor locations, such as a small note on the coffee maker or on the bathroom mirror. The beauty of this system is that it harnesses the power of already established habits to create new ones. Psychologically, it's much easier to add a small behavior to something you already do automatically than to try to create an entirely new habit from scratch. Plus, these small decluttering tasks, when done consistently, prevent the build-up of clutter that would otherwise be necessary for a major tidying session. An added benefit is that this system is extremely flexible and can be adapted to any lifestyle or routine. Even if your schedule changes, you'll always have your daily anchors to which your decluttering tasks are connected. Tip 10. The continuous pruning technique. One of the most common causes of chronic clutter is the continual accumulation of new items without the corresponding removal of old items. The continuous pruning technique addresses this issue head-on by establishing a sustainable system for maintaining a balance between what's coming in and what's going out of your home. The basic principle of this technique is, for every new item that comes into your home, at least one similar item should go out. Bought a new shirt? An old shirt needs to be donated or discarded. Got a new kitchen appliance? An old one needs to find a new home. This simple rule prevents the gradual accumulation that leads to clutter. To implement this technique effectively, create exit zones in your home. These are designated areas for items that are ready to go, whether for donation, sale, or disposal. A donation box in your closet, a bin for items to be sold online, and a recycling bin are all examples of effective exit zones. The key to success with this technique is to process it regularly. Set specific dates on your calendar to clear out your outgoing areas, whether it's by dropping off donations to charity, posting items for sale, or taking recycling to a drop-off point. The ideal frequency depends on your rate of acquiring new items, but for most people, once a month is sufficient. A variation of this technique that works well for those trying to significantly reduce their belongings is the 1 in, 2 out rule. For every new item you acquire, remove 2 similar items. This variation not only prevents clutter, but it gradually reduces the total amount of items in your home. Another useful adaptation is to apply this technique by category. For example, if you realize you have too many clothes, you could set a ratio of 1-for-1 in clothing, while maintaining a 1-to-1 ratio in other categories. The beauty of this technique is that it doesn't require you to completely stop acquiring new things. Instead, it creates awareness of the flow of items and establishes a sustainable system that prevents overaccumulation without requiring extreme sacrifices or occasional dramatic purging sessions. Tip 11. The capsule wardrobe method. The closet is one of the areas that most easily becomes disorganized, especially when you live alone and don't have someone to help you keep things organized. The capsule wardrobe method offers an elegant and efficient solution to this problem, drastically reducing the time and effort required to keep your closet organized. This method involves significantly reducing the amount of clothing you own, focusing on versatile pieces that can be combined with each other in multiple ways. The goal is to have a smaller, more functional, and easier to organize wardrobe. To implement this method, start by separating all of your clothes by category: tops, pants, dresses, and so on. Then examine each item individually by asking yourself 3 questions. Do I really like this? Does this item fit my current body shape well? Have I worn this in the last 12 months? If the answer to any of these questions is no, the item should be considered for donation or sale. Once you've narrowed down your initial collection, select 30 to 40 pieces that will serve as your capsule wardrobe for the current season. These should include clothes for all of your regular activities, from work to play, and should be easy to mix and match. Ideally, choose a coordinated color palette to maximize your mix and match options. Store the rest of your clothes in a separate storage area or in out-of-sight storage containers. With each change of season, re-evaluate your capsule wardrobe, swapping out a few pieces as needed. The benefits of this method are many. First, it saves you valuable time each morning, as choosing what to wear becomes much easier when all of your options are pieces that you love and that work well together. Second, staying organized is much easier when you have fewer items to manage. Third, your space will be more organized and visually pleasing, which will contribute to an overall sense of order in your home. This method doesn't mean you can never buy new clothes, but it does create a more intentional approach to shopping. When considering a new purchase, ask yourself how it will fit into your existing capsule wardrobe and what combinations it will allow for. Tip 12. The flow mapping strategy. One of the main reasons homes get disorganized is because items end up being stored in places that don't make sense for the natural flow of our daily routines. The flow mapping strategy solves this problem by adjusting your home organization to align with your actual habits, rather than trying to force your habits to fit an arbitrary organization system. The first step to implementing this strategy is to observe your natural patterns for a few days. Pay attention to where you naturally leave certain items, what paths you most often take through the house, and which items you tend to need together. For example, you might notice that you always leave your keys and purse on the kitchen counter when you get home, even though you have a dedicated key hook somewhere else. Rather than fighting this habit, the flow mapping strategy suggests that you create an organized station for your keys and purses right where you naturally put them. As another example, if you find yourself constantly carrying dirty glasses from your bedroom to the kitchen, you might find it helpful to have a small tray in your bedroom to collect these items, making them easier to carry. For each area of your home, identify how you actually use it, not how you think you should. Then, rearrange your spaces to support these natural flows. Place items you use together in close proximity to each other. Create dedicated stations at high activity points. Keep frequently used items in the most accessible places. A crucial element of this strategy is accepting your own habits without judgment. If you always change in the bathroom after showering, there's no point in keeping your underwear in the bedroom, away from the bathroom. Instead of forcing yourself to change this habit, place a few essential items in a drawer in the bathroom. The beauty of this approach is that it completely customizes your home organization to your specific needs. When your home is organized to support your actual lifestyle, staying organized becomes much more natural and requires much less conscious effort. This strategy is especially valuable for those who live alone, as you have the freedom to organize your spaces according to your personal preferences, without having to consider the needs or habits of others. Tip 13. The Clutter-free zone system. One of the most effective strategies for maintaining a sense of order in your home, even when you don't have the time to keep everything perfectly organized, is the clutter-free zone system. This system involves designating specific areas of your home that will be kept impeccably organized at all times, even if other areas may occasionally become a little messier. The idea behind this system is that in our psychological perception, not all areas of the home have the same impact on how we feel about overall organization. Some areas, when organized, create a much stronger impression of order than others. To implement this system, identify 3 to 5 spaces in your home that will be your clutter-free zones. Ideally, these should be areas that have a high visual or functional impact. Some common examples include the front entryway to your home, the kitchen counter, the coffee table in the living room, the bathroom sink, and your work desk. These zones should be relatively small and easy to maintain. An entire counter might be too ambitious, but the portion of the counter that is immediately visible when entering the kitchen would be a perfect choice. Make it a firm rule that these zones will be kept completely clutter-free at all times. This means that no items can remain in these areas if they are not actively being used or do not belong there as part of your intentional decor. For each clutter-free zone, create a quick reset routine that can be completed in less than a minute. For example, for your kitchen countertop, your reset routine might include putting away any food, putting dirty dishes in the sink or dishwasher, wiping the surface with a cloth, and arranging any decorative items. Practice these reset routines until they become second nature. The benefit of this system is psychologically powerful. Even when other areas of your home may be a little messier than you'd like, clutter-free zones create islands of calm and order that have a disproportionate impact on your overall perception of the space. Plus, keeping these small areas organized requires much less effort than trying to keep your entire home spotless all the time, making this strategy particularly well suited for busy people who live alone. Over time, you can gradually expand your clutter-free zones, progressively increasing the overall feeling of organization in your home. Tip 14. The principle of clear surfaces. A home can be technically organized, with all items in their proper places, but still feel cluttered if every surface is occupied. The clear surfaces principle is a simple but transformative approach that can instantly create a sense of calm and order in your home. This principle states that the horizontal surfaces in your home, such as tables, counters, and furniture tops, should remain predominantly free of objects. To implement this principle, start by taking inventory of all the horizontal surfaces in your home. For each, determine the primary purpose of that surface and what really needs to be there permanently. For example, on your nightstand, you might only need a lamp and an eyeglass holder. On your kitchen counter, you might only need a coffee maker and a knife rack. Everything else should find a permanent home inside cabinets, drawers, or other storage spaces. The goal is not necessarily to have completely empty surfaces, but rather to have intentionally organized surfaces where every item has been carefully selected to be there. For surfaces that inevitably accumulate items throughout the day, such as the entryway table where you put your mail, or the kitchen counter where you prepare meals, establish a habit of clearing these surfaces once or twice a day. This can be part of your morning and evening routine. The visual impact of having predominantly clear surfaces is immense. Your home will immediately appear more spacious, more organized, and calmer. In addition, clear surfaces are much easier to clean, which in turn makes overall home maintenance easier. This principle also offers significant psychological benefits. Environments with less visual stimuli have been linked to reduced stress levels and increased ability to concentrate. Many people report that simply walking into a space with clear surfaces provides an immediate sense of relief and relaxation. A key tip for maintaining this principle is to get into the habit of asking yourself, does this item really need to be on this surface, or can I store it somewhere else? Over time, this question will become automatic, and you will naturally begin to prefer cleaner, more organized surfaces. Tip 15. The preventive organization method. Much of the time we spend organizing is actually spent reorganizing areas that were previously tidy, but have since become disorganized. The preventive organization method intelligently addresses this problem by identifying and correcting the root causes of recurring clutter. It's like treating the disease rather than just the symptoms. This method consists of 3 main steps: observation, analysis, and intervention. In the observation step, you identify which areas of your home tend to become cluttered most quickly or most frequently. It could be the kitchen counter that always accumulates miscellaneous items, the entryway table that is covered in mail, or the couch that always ends up cluttered with clothes. Keep a short journal for a week, noting which areas need to be reorganized most often. In the analysis step, you investigate why these specific areas tend to accumulate clutter. Ask yourself, what is causing this clutter? Do items not have a designated place? Is the storage area inconvenient? Am I trying to fit too many items into a small space? Is the purpose of this area unclear? In the intervention stage, you implement specific solutions to address the causes you've identified. For example, if your kitchen counter is piling up with mail because there's no clear system for processing it, create a mail processing station with folders for different types of documents. If your couch is always cluttered with clothes, maybe you need a more accessible coat rack or hamper in your bedroom. The core principle of this method is that it's much more effective to prevent clutter than to continually rearrange the same spaces. By identifying and correcting the underlying causes, you create sustainable systems that work with your lifestyle rather than against it. This method is especially valuable for single people because it allows you to fully customize solutions to your specific needs without having to accommodate other people's habits. Plus, once you implement effective preventative solutions, the amount of time you spend organizing dramatically decreases, freeing up more time and energy for the activities that really matter. And there you have it. From start to finish, we've explored 15 practical ways to make your home feel more organized and peaceful, no matter how busy your days get, or if you're living solo. I truly hope these ideas from timeless wisdom have given you inspiration and confidence to start making positive changes, one step at a time. The real secret isn't about marathon cleaning sessions or chasing perfection. It's all about weaving a few simple habits into your everyday life and letting those little actions add up over time. If you try just 1 or 2 of these strategies this week, you might be surprised by how much lighter and more welcoming your space can feel. Don't put pressure on yourself to overhaul everything at once. Small, steady progress is what really creates lasting results. Remember, an organized home is so much more than what others see. It's about building a haven that supports your well-being, your peace of mind, and your happiness. Imagine the comfort of coming home to a tidy, inviting space after a long day, or the freedom of never feeling embarrassed when friends or family drop by unexpectedly. That kind of calm and comfort is absolutely possible, and it's well within your reach. So here's my challenge for you. Pick any 3 tips from today's video and commit to them for the next 21 days. The time it takes for new habits to stick. Then check in with yourself, see the difference, and maybe even add another technique to your routine. I'd love to hear about your progress and which ideas you found most helpful. Share your experiences in the comments, and let's support each other as we all strive for calmer, more organized homes. Thanks for watching Timeless Wisdom. We're on this journey together, one simple, positive change at a time.